It is lights out and away we go. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Everyone, welcome back. F1 has been at a bit of a break, but the the HOS F1 podcast is back. And I'm your host, Adrian Huff, and I'm joined by my co-host, RJ McCullough. RJ, how have you been, my man?
Oh, it's nice to talk to you again. It's been a long time. Last time I talked to you, I was in Florida. So
yes,
nice to be back in Canada. The Leafs have lost since we last spoke, which obviously is tough, but happens every year. And it's been long enough that I'm kind of over it now. They just fired their general manager just left, so there's gonna be some big changes this offseason. So we'll have to keep you posted on that. But
it's a pretty controversial loss.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to get into it, otherwise I'll get pissed off again. But Florida played better, so in the end of the day, now Florida's looking like they're going to go to the Cup Finals, so because they're already up in the next series. So, oh well, what are you going to do?
Sports.
What else? Got
there's lots of
Jays. The Jays swept the Braves.
Yes,
but then the Jays kind of got in a slide since then, so they're not looking great either. Guess I have a simple question for you though. Cats or dogs?
Dogs.
I said dogs as well. Do you see what Pierre Gasly said when they asked him?
I did not. What did he say?
Doggy.
Doggy? Oh, God. Oh, gosh. That's a pretty French answer.
Yeah, they were on Alpine did an Instagram live because they obviously couldn't race at Imola. And there was like some fan questions, I guess. And someone asked cats or dogs, and he said that on a live stream for Alpine. Interesting. Esteban Ocon was even like, I cannot believe you just said that.
Yeah.
But whatever. It's funny.
Not a good PR move, but it's a pretty funny answer. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. And they were like messing around with the filters the whole time. It was, from what I saw, it was kind of a shit show, but hey, what are you going to do?
It's most F1 like live stream events or just F1 events in general. I mean, just getting all canceled or, this is the second GP that's been canceled. Hopefully the last one that's been canceled for this year. Massive disappointment.
It's been rough. Imola. Obviously, our thoughts go out to those that were affected by the flooding and everything.
Yes.
Selfishly, as a fan, it was unfortunately we couldn't watch, but it's that one's obviously a lot more understandable than something like China, where they knew they weren't going to be able to race there and they still put it on the calendar.
Yeah.
But I guess that leads me to my second question, other than cats or dogs. Like, of the years we've been watching F1, it's not that long, but with the month off that we've already had, and then another race being canceled, the races themselves haven't really been that great. I mean, is this like the worst start to a season we've seen?
Definitely that we've seen. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, last season was at least, it felt like the season just got more and more boring, but it started out extremely exciting, and we just didn't know how the season was going to play out. Lots of competition amongst multiple teams, I guess specifically Red Bull and Ferrari. But yeah, this season has just been a lot of disappointments, I feel like. But there's also been a lot of upsides, a couple of surprises, a couple of moments that have just sort of lifted up the whole season. I guess Fernando Alonso has really been carrying this season as far as just hype goes. Leclerc too has recently kind of been pulling it back up a little bit more hope that it's not going to be Red Bull win every single weekend. I think Fernando could squeeze out a win this season. That's honestly probably the most action that we can hope for.
Yeah, especially if you can get pole this weekend. That's probably someone's best chance.
Wow.
Or maybe in Spain next week when he goes home. But yeah, it's been tough, but I mean, maybe it's gonna be like the opposite of last year. Last year started out, looked really close, and then over the course of the year, Red Bull just kind of pulled away. So I don't know, maybe things will start to tighten up, at least for us fans. Had not really high hopes for Mercedes upgrades, but we'll get into that in a little bit. But kind of put a little kink in our plans with not being able to test things at Imola. Although I guess if it would have been wet either way, I don't know. But yeah, Monaco's not the best place to test out new upgrades, I say.
Yeah, because a lot of their upgrades are focused on like their engine speed, right? So it's not going to be like a ton of aerodynamics.
Yeah, and then if there's any issues with like adapting to it, with even just like the braking points and stuff, like there's really no margin for errors there. So
I can't wait.
Happen. I think Ferrari actually might be delaying their upgrades to Spain because they don't really see the point of doing it now. But we'll see about that. Yeah, it's definitely feels like a punishment to drive that in the video game. I can't imagine what it's like in real life. But speaking of punishments, we each had a Grand Prix to finish based on our punishments from our punishment wheel, which feels like forever since we've done one. But I completed my full Baku GP.
As did I.
And I put on 80 AI, and Max Verstappen is just a beast. So he won. He came first, but I came second. So I'll take that. Did you do your Miami Grand Prix?
I did. I played as my boy Max, of course, and I did win. I actually did that last night after Succession. I was up pretty late, but yes, did the Miami GP. My time was something like hour 33, something like that. So it was a while. It took a minute.
Yeah,
but it was fun. I really enjoyed it. Did a 2-stop.
To get the really get the track down. Did you do that many laps?
Yes. It's I know people hate on it, but I mean I feel like we both are sort of supporters of the Miami GP, or at least we're enjoyers of it at the very least.
Yeah, it's only gonna get better every year. Did you go soft, medium, medium, or medium, soft, medium, or medium, medium, soft, or did you go on the hards?
No, I just went soft, medium, medium.
Yeah,
because I started out in
medium,
first,
soft, medium.
so just started. I was like, I'll just start with soft since I'm starting at the front. Might as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I tried to go an alternate strategy. Almost worked out. Just couldn't catch Max.
It's hard.
But yeah, speaking of the video game, finally we're getting some decent details out now of the F123, which comes out June 16th. I think it's like a month or at least a couple weeks earlier than usual. It's usually around earlier to mid-July, so that's exciting. And I think everyone's pretty skeptical as of a few weeks ago because last year's game, I mean, we're probably not the best people to make a judgment on it because we still like it, but even we noticed some issues, especially with just glitches and lack of like being able to connect half the time.
Yeah, it's a poorly made game.
Things we're seeing come out, they've done a few deep dive videos. They released another one today, Monday, on like F1 World and Breaking Point 2. They did like something on the career mode last week and the new like handling physics. So I guess from what I've seen, it looks good. Is there anything that stands out in a good or bad way? I don't know if you saw the F1 World video today.
Yeah, the one that you sent.
Yeah, I think I sent the article, and yeah, there was a video in there. It was like a couple minutes long. I don't know. It's kind of like Ultimate Team if you ever played Madden or FIFA or NHL.
Oh yeah.
But it seems like you're building a whole team. I guess there's only 2 drivers on a. I guess they have like the team principles and stuff as well. So I don't know. As long as it doesn't become like you have to pay money to do well in it, then
yeah.
From what I've seen, it looks good. What are your main takeaways?
I just thought it was kind of fun. I mean, it just sort of defeats. I mean, I know it's not going to be as in depth, but when they announced that F1 Manager game, I just said, why not just combine it and add that as a feature into the regular F1 game series? But I'm happy that we're getting a little bit more of that realistic sort of behind the scenes aspect to the manager side of things, getting to create your own team. I mean, as far as like Madden goes, I mean, that's like the most fun part about that game. So creating your own team, trying to get to the Super Bowl, doing the franchise, like that's all fun as fuck. So I couldn't be happier.
Yeah. I mean, my favorite part by far is the career mode. That's pretty much all I do. And even when we play, we do career mode, 2-player, whatever. Mm-hmm. But it seems like this from the video, it's kind of going to have some better aspects where you don't have to necessarily do multiplayer because there are going to be people that just probably buy all the best upgrades and then have a way faster car. But you can do like there's like literally there's a map you can go to whatever Silverstone if you want to go to the UK, and you have to do certain challenges there to unlock parts or whatever the case. So
I like that.
It actually looks pretty good. So there will be something else to do, not just career mode. You can do that, and also the Breaking Point, which I really like Breaking Point. But you usually go through it in like less than a week, and then you have 51 more weeks of you're not really going to play it again. So
no, one and
that's
done.
just like the little story mode thing they do. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I hope they improve career mode, at least in terms of the 2-player issues. And they have a new like ranking thing online because a lot of people just go in there and just crash into people on purpose, and it's really frustrating. So I think they're trying to fix that. So yeah, we'll see. We got a couple more weeks till that comes out. So I'm looking forward to that though for sure. It was going to be a maybe buy. Now I'm going to buy it obviously.
Oh, for sure.
I'm not going to.
Absolutely. We got to finish our season before then though.
Yes, we do. We'll have to get back on that tonight. Another big race this weekend, though, before we get into... oh, man, I just had a brain fart. Before we go to Monaco, we have the Indy 500, probably the biggest non F1 race in our fandom. So yeah, I asked you to kind of look up the times and the if there's any notable drivers other than normal ones. So yeah, I'll let you take it away.
Yeah. So interestingly enough, they're already qualified, so the grid is set, and they're running practice today. This happened about 2 hours ago. Actually, 2 of the drivers actually crashed. I didn't really have a chance to look too much into it, but if there's actual video, I'll try to put that in. But yeah, Alex Palou is pole position. He apparently, I think he set I don't know if it was a lap record. I think I could be wrong about that, but apparently it's like the 4th year in a row that a Chip Ganassi Racing racer has taken pole position at the Indy 500. Some other
He's McLaren, right?
Yes, he is McLaren. I believe he's I'm not 100% certain. He has to be driving for McLaren in the Indy 500. He has to be, I think.
He must be if he's signed to McLaren. But
besides that, I'm not going to go through
Colton Herta in there.
He is. I'm not going to go through the entire grid, but we've got Marcus Ericsson all the way down in 10th.
What about Grosjean?
Grosjean, he's there. He's all the way down in 19th. He didn't qualify too well.
Okay.
Besides that, we've got.
Sorry, what place was Herta starting?
Herta is actually behind Grosjean. He's in 21st.
Yikes. Not the best.
We've got Callum. I think you pronounce his name Callum Ilott.
Yeah, I think so.
He's all the way down in 28th. So, got some people from the F1 world kind of branching over. Besides that, I think, is Pato Award also, or I don't know. He may not be. I think I have.
Yeah,
that.
I think he's like one of the McLaren reserve test guys, whatever. When they get like rookie drives, I think he's done at least one.
Alexander Rossi, he's actually riding under Arrow McLaren, but Alex Palou's car name is the American Legion, so he may not be driving for McLaren. I'll have to look more into that. But yeah, it's
Indy fans are cringing hard right now.
They are. This is an F1 podcast. I'm sorry. Yeah. IndyCar is an inferior sport to F1, just slightly. It's still awesome. It's a very cool racing, but it's definitely a much more easy racing circuit to get into as an American, to be able to actually go in person. You're way more likely to go to an Indy race. So it's probably a more realistic sport to get into, actually.
Yeah, I'll be going to the Indy in Toronto in, I don't know, I think it's in mid-July.
Very cool.
Yeah. So other than that, what else? I guess we can get on to the actual F1 talk. We got a decent amount of stuff because obviously it's Monaco week. It's like big spectacle. Usually not the best race itself, but hey, you never know. Last year's was at least entertaining. But first, storyline that's kind of just doesn't go away, but now it's actually becoming like a lot of places are reporting that it's seemingly fact that Ferrari is preparing a £40 million offer. So did the translation in Google, and it's basically exactly $50 million American, which is I think what he's making with Mercedes, or at least that's what Max makes with Red Bull. So I don't know. I think we've kind of seen this happen before. It's also at the same time in news that Charles Leclerc is in the contract negotiations with Ferrari, and Lewis is in contract negotiations with Mercedes. So it's all kind of seems like agents just kind of trying to negotiate higher money for their guys.
Negotiation tactics for sure.
But if, let's just hypothetically say this were to happen, who do you think would be? Do you think Mercedes would be trying to get Charles to go to Mercedes, or do you think it'd be Sainz, or do you think Ferrari would go with Lewis and Charles, or Lewis and Carlos? I mean, it opens up a lot of questions if it were to happen.
I think for the smartest move for Ferrari would be Leclerc, Lewis, but I don't know if they would be able to swing that, especially because this is technically Leclerc's last year on contract. So if they did go with Lewis, they may just be like, look, let's just do a little swap, let Leclerc go, bring on the vet, and I don't know about Carlos though. I'm curious. I'd actually be really curious to see sort of how he is perceived or what his reputation is sort of behind the scenes at Ferrari. If everybody likes him or if everybody's like, nah, he's not going to be here very much longer.
Yeah. So it's his Agent 2022. I'm trying to look up his contract. Signed with Ferrari from McLaren in 2021 2 years through the 2024 season. So he's got one more
after this year.
Charles has one more after this year as well, according to this. But that's just a quick Google. But yeah, I know Lewis is up. I thought Charles was up the end of this year too, but
so they could just drop Carlos if they wanted. Then
yeah, they've got 1 year left on his contract, so yeah, they could just kind of buy him out in the last year. I don't know though. Yeah, well, that remains to be seen.
It'd be wild.
Yeah, that would kick off crazy because then Lando might want to leave McLaren to go to Mercedes. Who knows? It would be. And then Sainz can go back to McLaren. It would just be a nice little circle of swaps. But yeah, I don't think it's going to happen. I think Ferrari's going to keep Charles. Mercedes will keep Lewis. He's said a million times that he wants to have the rest of his career with Mercedes, probably stay working with Mercedes after he retires. There was just that one quote that basically alluding to like, oh, everyone, or like that he would love to drive a Ferrari at some point in his career, but like everyone wants to. There's no harm in saying that. So I don't think I don't think it means that he's going to leave unless it becomes evident that Ferrari is somehow more likely to win than Mercedes, which I would not say that at this point. So yeah, that's that. A guy that might actually get replaced though. There's a lot of chatter of Nick DeVries if he doesn't start performing better, maybe even as early as the summer break, he might get replaced. And Red Bull, I think Helmut Marko said there's two guys that he would consider. I was kind of hoping it would be Daniel Ricciardo or Mick Schumacher, but those are both quickly shot down as no's. The guys he mentioned are Liam Lawson and Owasa. Let's see. What's that other guy's name? Okay.
Is he the Japanese racer?
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure I get the right name. I want to say the wrong name here. Liam Lawson and Ayumu Iwasa.
I mean, yeah, let's get DeVries out. DeVries fucking sucks.
Yeah, I mean, usually you'd want to give a guy at least a full season to see how he develops. Like I remember us talking about how bad Yuki Tsunoda was in his first season, but he's turned it around. He looks good.
Maybe I love Yuki. Yes.
Maybe he gets a call up to Red Bull after Perez's contract is up, but who knows?
Could happen.
So yeah, that's who they're saying would replace DeVries. So it's nothing, no huge exciting names. They probably wouldn't be much better just because of the learning curve of F1. But it'll be very interesting to see the rookies. I guess it's Sargent, DeVries, and Piastri this week in Monaco is such a hard track. So we'll see how they fare on that one.
Oh, God, it's going to be an absolute mess. It's going to be terrible. All these rookies.
I don't know. What do you think the odds they actually replace DeVries this year, though? Do you think they wait till next year?
Oof. Yeah. A mid-season... I don't know. I don't think he's... I don't know. I mean, again, I think it all really also depends on how behind the scenes are going. I mean, Nick comes off as a pompous, asshole who thinks he's, capable. I mean, if you watch Drive to Survive, he was talking like he was coming in ready to dominate Yuki and be the leader of, AlphaTauri, which is just absurd, for him to even say that to begin with. Kind of put a bad taste in my mouth. I wish I had watched that before we did our draft, but that's okay. He's still just, I don't know. I've completely turned my opinion on him. And I know that's a very popular opinion of late, but I wouldn't be too upset if he went because he's just nothing special.
Yeah, I agree. And it's not like he's some young 21-year-old or whatever. I think he's like 28 or something. So
yeah,
he's
the
older
prime
than
is gone.
The whole like Charles, George, Lando, Max, all those guys who are way better than him and they're younger than him. So yeah, I feel like they're going to give him the end of the year before they make a decision, but we'll see. Just quick. Before I forget, did you have the schedule for the Indy 500, like the race Sunday time?
No, I can pull that up though.
Okay, just because I want to see if it's possible to watch. Should be able to watch Monaco and then watch that. Just make a whole race day out of it. That'd be kind of cool.
That would be sick. Okay, I got it right here if you're ready.
Okay. Yep.
Sunday, 12:45 p.m.
Oh, that's when lights go out, eh? 12:44. What do they say? Do they say start your engines, or is that NASCAR?
That's definitely not. That's definitely NASCAR.
What do they say in Indy? I wonder.
GP
We're just total rookies here, but yeah, I guess we can kind of watch the GP.
Monaco will be at 9 a.m. and then qualifying will be at 10 a.m. So you could probably watch it back to back.
Oh yeah, because I think the maximum is like 4 hours. So
and
Monaco is like the shortest race as well. So yeah, that'll be good. Big race day. Some upgrades. Obviously, they were supposed to come for Imola. Ferrari was planning on bringing an upgrade package, including changes to the floor, rear suspension, and even completely new side pods. Well, it remains to be seen if they're actually going to bring those this week for Monaco, but we should find out in the next few days. In terms of Mercedes, they have a bunch of new upgrades. I'll just read. Toto Wolff said they're introducing a new bodywork, introducing a new floor, and they're doing a new front suspension. He's not really expecting too much right off the bat from it. Saying, never in my years in Formula One, I've never seen a silver bullet being introduced where suddenly you unlock half a second of performance. So yeah, basically they're just trying to set like the direction of the car. It'll give them like a process of elimination to start ruling things out and moving in the right direction. So as a Mercedes fan, I mean, they're probably going to do. I'm sure Christian Horner is going to have comments about how it's a copy of the Red Bull, but that's kind of the way it goes. Like if your car is that much better, which it obviously is, that's what happens when you're first. So yeah, personally, not really expecting anything till. I mean, even Toto said winning their goal would be like to win, or maybe it was Lewis. If they can win in Abu Dhabi, like win the final race of the year, that would kind of make it worth it. So yeah, we'll see. I also said like you've got to. Just talking about like the gap, how far it is. Like you not just have to start up front, not just get pole, because we've seen Charles do that, but then to be able to keep the Red Bulls behind you the entire race.
Yeah, that's the thing.
It's a big ask. So.
That Red Bull is just so fast for so long. It just doesn't stop. It's insane.
Yeah. So as I wrote in my blog, which you can on our website, the link is in the bio. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how like the other team principals react, because if Christian Horner is getting mad and getting upset, then that's probably a good sign, because that means he's a little bit he thinks Mercedes are onto something good. But if they're kind of just being all positive, like, it's nice to see Mercedes get it going the right direction, blah, blah, blah. That's probably not a good sign for Mercedes, because as we know, all F1, pretty much everything F1 teams say is a lie.
Yeah.
In terms of PR stuff. So
100%.
Don't, again, take it all with a grain of salt, because this is Monaco week, and usually you can't really tell much. Is that your doggy?
No, he's trying to come in.
Thought I heard something. Yeah, so don't expect too much this week in terms of Mercedes. I mean, if one of them gets a top 5, I think that'd be great. To be honest, I'm expecting them to maybe take one step back in order to take 2 steps forward. Maybe by Silverstone we'll have a bit better idea. Hopefully, maybe a little bit in Spain. Silverstone, they always want to do well. So we'll see about that. Do you have any thoughts on Ferrari or Mercedes upgrades? I'm not sure if Red Bull are bringing any upgrades, but
I don't believe they are. I tried looking it up. I didn't see anything, but I'm more just interested to see if Ferrari actually bring their upgrades this weekend.
Okay.
Because Monaco is a weird track.
Yeah, Mercedes said theirs are already installed, so they're kind of pooched. But if you want to keep looking at it, I'm just going to read out we discussed this over text. The teammate battles so far this season over 5 races. Obviously, take into account some guys have had like DNFs and engine failures, etc. But from most biggest gap to smallest gap, Alonso 5-0 over Stroll, not really surprising. Tsunoda 5-0 over De Vries,
Yuki.
as we just talked about. De Vries kind of came in talking a big game, has done terrible. Sainz 4-1 over Leclerc. That's one where it's like you have to factor in. A lot of it hasn't been Charles's fault.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't say Sainz has been very good this year, particularly at all. I'd say Leclerc's been better, but Sainz has just got the results. Magnussen 4-1 over Hulkenberg. little surprising.
That is surprising, actually, because Nico just seems to perform better in qualifying, I think.
Yeah, he hasn't really. She just like hasn't. I haven't really noticed him. Like I haven't really heard his name much this year. He's just kind of been in nothing.
Kind of the same when he subbed in for
a little better. But
oh yeah, and Mick for sure. I think replacing him might have been stupid. Yeah, he might have crashed a couple of times though, but
whatever. It's good to have him around.
Yeah.
Then we got Lando 4 to Piastri 1. I guess not surprising. Lando is one of the best. Piastri's eventually going to be good, but still learning. 3 Gasly to 1 for Ocon. I don't know why maybe they didn't finish the race. I don't know. 3 Albon, 1 Sargent. 3 Verstappen, 2 Perez. 3 Bottas, 2 for Zhou. And 3 Hamilton, 2 Russell. So the ones at the bottom, not surprising. I'm hoping Hamilton can stay above Russell, but yeah, I would say Magnussen over Hulkenberg, Tsunoda over De Vries, probably the most surprising or interesting.
Yeah, the Yuki one, I feel like he's just constantly proving that he's underestimated, I think.
Yeah, I mean, we underestimated him for sure. And then started to like him. Didn't really have much of an opinion on him in his first year, and then Drive to Survive, and he was just talking about how much he always poops and farts and everything. His videos with Gasly, like, they're just so funny. So yeah, I started to like him, and then he really is improving on track. So yeah, hopefully, I'm sure he'll be around for a little while.
If AlphaTauri is, at least.
Yes. We'll get to the Monaco details in a sec. One of the coolest things about Monaco, I'm going to skip ahead a bit. One of the coolest things about Monaco is usually we get some interesting liveries.
Yes, sir.
Williams signed Golf, I guess, signed with Williams, leaving McLaren. So they're now with them, and they've teased. There's a teaser video, basically. On Friday, they're announcing a very special livery for Monaco. So that should be really cool. I think we both share the opinion that the coolest F1 car of all time is the 2021 McLaren Golf that they did at Monaco.
It's one of the nicest liveries for sure. It's beautiful.
It's stunning. And then the weirdest one we talked about a few months back in 2004, the Jaguar that had the diamond, like $1 million diamond or something.
Yeah, that was
front nose.
weird.
And then turn 1 they crashed, and then diamond was never found.
That's really funny. I forgot we talked about that.
Yeah, so look out for that. I mean, Red Bull has actually done a ton of new liveries for this, but I would assume all their new liveries this year are going to be in the U.S. races. But we'll see. Maybe one of the teams will surprise us. Ferrari might do something. I don't know. We'll see.
We know for sure we've got Williams, though, coming in.
And that's going to be great. Hopefully the guys can do at least a little better than last place. But we'll see about that. So, yeah, on to actual Monaco talk. The race schedule this week. As you mentioned, the race is at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which there is 3 p.m. And so qualifying here 10 a.m. and then the practice Friday morning 7:30 and 11, and then 6:30 Saturday morning practice 3. So not bad all the way around. Pretty good for the viewer. We got the circuit itself. 78 laps, so a ton of laps.
It's a lot. It's a lot, bro.
A lot of winding, turning. The amount of gear shifts per lap, I can't even imagine. Lewis holds the lap record for 2021.
That's the fastest of all time, 2021?
Yeah.
Wow. That's honestly probably...
I think Max won, but Lewis went at the end. He went for...
the fastest lap. I can't believe that's the fastest. I mean, that's just one tiny record that he holds, but you got to think about that. I mean, that is the fastest lap of all time at Monaco. It's crazy.
It is. It was 1929 when they first raced around the Principality.
It's amazing.
And now, every time I now see that one chicane, I guess it's more of a hairpin, I'm just going to think of that car, that little square mini that tried to do, in real life on the streets of Monaco, tried to take that hairpin at full speed.
Oh, yeah.
And the car just flipped, basically. So that's funny. I'm sure we'll see that. Hopefully they put that on the broadcast.
Jesus Christ.
Also, I didn't really fully understand this, but as far as I understand, it was the one F1 broadcast that was done by the city itself, like the local broadcasters and everything did the Monaco Grand Prix.
Really?
I don't really understand that because they had the broadcasters themselves talking, but I guess maybe the cameraman and all that. But this year, F1's doing it. So I don't really know what that'll mean, but it is always cool seeing. I'm sure they'll have the same access. The amazing camera angles they get here. It's one of the coolest.
Yeah.
Like the cameras are like right on the track basically, and kind of like near the swimming pool chicane, and just out of casino and stuff. Like it looks amazing. So looking forward to that.
I think what I'm most looking forward to in that regard is now that I feel like this year they're really perfecting the first person helmet camera as far as like getting the gyroscope and doing the steady cam. So I'm just give me like a solid couple laps of just that footage from Monaco, because that would be so amazing. But yeah, the onboards. It's going to be an interesting weekend. Monaco's always, I mean, we were talking about the most exciting parts, Saturday, but because it's impossible to overtake. But like you said, it's 78 laps. So the race, there's still plenty, to enjoy for the race. You're just watching these drivers just absolutely just go through complete turmoil to get to the finish line. But it's also just, we do see a couple overtakes, or at least in the past that we have. But I think the main thing is seeing who won't crash. That's the main thing. Like who's going to get to the end without crashing, especially in the top 10. That's where it really matters. Yeah. I mean, it matters in the lower end too, as far as people getting hurt. But, really the only thing that matters if somebody in the bottom 10 crashes is, are they okay? And did they cause a red flag or a yellow flag? That's pretty much it. Yeah. There's probably going to be a lot of that because we got some, the rookies they've fucking, it feels like every single weekend one of them spins out or does something. Doesn't necessarily wreck, but, it's apparent we've got some newbies on the grid. But I think that it's going to be a little bit exciting. I just hope it doesn't hinder like we've seen it in the past, at least.
Yeah, I would partially agree with that. It would be kind of cool to see someone other than the Red Bulls win, even if it has to be by luck of
I'm okay with that.
In the like a yellow flag, I guess. Kind of getting lucky with the pit stop times.
I meant more in regards to like qualifying.
Oh yeah,
like preventing last year we had runs.
One of the most controversial moments of the season last year with Sergio. Did he purposely crash in qualifying to stay ahead of Max?
I can't believe that's all a whole year ago.
Third, fourth. There's that, and then there's also Charles notoriously messing up at not necessarily himself. It's been a combination of himself and bad luck and bad strategy calls at his home race, which apparently this is the one race F drivers want to win most because of prestige that they say you're not really a F1 legend until you win in Monaco.
He's never won.
He's never won.
Yeah.
And that's his home race. So he desperately wants to win. He's had pole a few times and it's always just gone badly. So
yeah, it has. He's crashed in qualifying, and the one time he's managed to get pole, like you said, the car wouldn't work. That is.
And then last year,
what year was
he was
that?
on pole, I believe. He was on pole last year too, and then they had the horrible pit strategy. Actually, we might as well. I don't know how well you remember last year, but if you want to go through what you remember of last year's race, and if there's anything that I remember that you missed, I'll.
Last year was the bad double stacking with Ferrari, getting like absolutely.
Yes. Beginning of the end.
Yeah, and Sergio won last year.
Yep.
Yeah, that was the main thing I remember, because I'm trying to. Yes, it was. Yeah, because that was the whole Sergio debacle. There was all that talk about him potentially doing that on purpose, even though I don't personally think he did. God, I really am struggling to remember what happened to Max, at least, that caused him to fall behind, if I remember correctly. Maybe it was just bad luck.
I think the Ferraris were... Because the Ferrari started 1-2, and then it was Perez, Verstappen. And then they messed up Charles' pit stop. It went... So it finished Perez, Sainz, Verstappen, Leclerc. So Leclerc went from first to fourth. And then I guess Verstappen just couldn't
pass him.
Max was like... So Carlos finished 1.154 seconds back, and Max finished 1.491 seconds back. So he was right on Sainz, but it's just so hard to pass. And Perez got his first win in Monaco, and kind of where people started to take notice that he's like the street circuit king or whatever. So
he's proven that even more so to this day. Yeah.
But Max is going to be wanting to make that back after all the drama that led to the drama later in the year when Max freaked out and didn't let Checo get his one. Come on, man. But yeah, so that was last year. There's always a little bit of drama. Qualifying, it's one of the most exciting qualifying because when they do just pin it for a lap and they're like on the edge, it's insane. So kind of akin to like a Jeddah qualifying where it's like there is some time to be made up, but guys have to really risk it all. So that'll be pretty cool to watch. Praying for, seems like last year bad weather has gone something I've hoped for to now that I dread because the results in a cancellation. Obviously last week was understandable. Or last year there was just delay after delay after delay. They just would never race in the rain. I think this race last year they kept delaying. Remember?
They did. That was.
And
really
then they finally
annoying.
had the weird thing with the start. They said they couldn't get the lights to work or whatever.
It was delayed by like 90 minutes, I believe,
Yeah.
the race start time.
And then they had to end it early. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, they didn't even get to do the full 78 laps last year. That was one of the reasons Max was pissed, I think. But yeah, so let's hope that doesn't happen. They used to practice on Thursdays, but now they're not anymore. So Friday, the weather is cloudy with temperatures in the low 20s. I'm assuming that's Celsius, which is still pretty warm. Friday also offers the highest risk of rain with 40% chance of showers. So if it rains Friday, not the end of the world. Hopefully it doesn't. But then Saturday, largely the same, less chance of rain. And then Sunday is expected to be the best with a 20% chance of rain. So yeah, let's just hope that we get a clear weather weekend that doesn't affect anything.
Clear.
Maybe a couple drops of rain here and there, but nothing.
Knock on wood.
Nothing big. Yeah. I'm trying to work my mouse here. That's that. Let's hear your any more race details, or you want to give your predictions? I can go over the betting odds if you want.
Yeah, let's do that.
So for a rare moment, Max is still the favorite, but you can make money betting on Max this race. He's 2.25 to 1.
Finally.
Last race he was like 1.4, so you weren't even doubling your money. Now you can at least double and a little bit more of your money. So good week to bet on Max. I guess Perez's odds are quite a bit better this week. He's 4 to 1, so he's usually around 7 to 1. So I guess the odds makers really are feeling that it's closer this week. Charles right behind at 4.5 to 1. I don't really see that happening. Alonso 6 to 1. Really no money to be made in terms of like, unless you think there's gonna be a crazy winner down the list. Podium finish, it's like not even double your money till you get to Alonso. Maybe that would be a good bet. 2.1 for Alonso to finish on the podium. Otherwise it's 1.5 or less. So yeah, not one of the shames when you get a season like this. Although I guess it is always interesting to see who finishes 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th between the Ferraris and Martins and the Mercedes. So yeah, there's always some good midfield battles. And then if there ever is, even with Red Bull's pace advantage, it could get kind of squashed a bit. Just it's such a tight track, and then even when, because it's such a literally small track that there's way more lapping. So I've seen a couple like old highlights or just from the last few years when like the guys are trying to get out of the way to let the guy in first. Like if there's a train of like 4 cars, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and they're trying to lap a guy that's in last, the guy tries to get out of the way, but there's really sometimes no room. So there's a few times where guys have just gotten screwed because they'll let the 1st place guy and the 2nd place guy, and then there's no more rooms, and then the other guys get caught in the train behind him, and it's wacky. So yeah, hoping for at least an interesting, exciting race. Should get a good grid walk. I don't know who the celebrities will be. If we'll get another Sir Jackie Stewart moment. I don't know if you saw that from Miami. I mentioned that was great when he got Roger Federer.
Yeah. Or how about James Marsden getting mistaken for Roger Federer? I said Fred Federer.
Oh yeah, that was a tough chiron.
Yikes!
See, I just started watching this show called Jury Duty. It's with James Marsden is in it.
We just finished that.
Oh man, it just came to Canada. It's so funny. I've been dying laughing watching it. It's so funny.
Yeah, that whole. If we do an episode that's like non F1 related, we might should just do a TV show a week on
when Succession's ending soon, so we could definitely do that.
And Barry.
Yeah. Let's see. So yeah, I guess predictions. Are we just gonna? I want to hear your order. So give me top 5.
Top 5.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you. All right, top 5, no particular order.
No,
for sure.
Order. I want order.
Oh, you want order? Oh god.
Yeah, we gotta have something here.
All right, I'm gonna go. Let's say number 1. I gotta be realistic here. Let's go Checo again, and then Max, then Leclerc, then Alonso, then Sainz. But in actuality, my dream podium would be Leclerc, Perez, and Alonso. Just all my guys up top. That's what I need.
How quickly Max has fallen in your fandom.
Dude, I've got to root for my fantasy team. That's pretty much it. Now, if I'm going, I should just start doing completely unbiased without fantasy team. If I'm doing that, then yeah, Max is probably going to win, like for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay. I think I'm going to guess Sergio as well to win this week. If you can get it on pole, I just kind of want the title race to be close, at least until we get to the European races where Max is going to pull away like he did last year. But I think Max will finish second. I think Fernando will get third. Shows that Aston Martin is pretty speedy and the Mercedes is probably not going to be as quick. I think Charles finishes fourth, unfortunately. If I could pick one guy other than Lewis to win, it would be Charles, especially here. And then I think, as much as I hate to say it, I think George Russell is going to get fifth. The Mercedes might be a little bit iffy this week, but he's, in a weird way, like good with shitty cars. He was really good, especially qualifying with Williams. So you could get a good qualifying session, getting one good lap out of it, whereas like Lewis doesn't seem to be as quick to adapting to when he doesn't like the car. So hopefully these changes are to Lewis's liking. But the other thing I didn't realize, so Lewis was complaining earlier in the year that the where the seat is in the car is like over the tires or something, like it's too far up. It should be a little bit further back, which makes total sense. That would be completely off-putting. I thought they could change that, but I guess they have to wait. That's something that you're not allowed to change, as far as I understand. So they just are stuck like that. Now, I could be wrong. I'm wrong a lot of the times, but I don't know. But that's unfortunate.
The Mercedes drivers are sat a little bit farther forward in that diagram that they posted with Red Bull, Ferrari, and Mercedes. So that's interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. So we'll see how that works out. We'll be watching our fantasy teams, and also for fantasy team stuff. I decline your trade offer of half your team for Lance Stroll. Mm-hmm. He's my Canadian boy. He is one of my only remaining impressions that I can do, and I need him on my team because I don't know if he's gonna get any podiums this year, but he'll put up some points. I think he's probably gonna have more points than those guys. So good try. In the summer break, we can look at maybe having one trade, but that will not be the one. I want him on my team. Actually, I saw an article today that it's like Lance Stroll admits he grew up a Fernando Alonso fanboy. Yeah, I think we could tell that by the way he's been acting all year. You didn't need to get that quote. I think every person knows that. His dad was probably like, "Who do you want the most?" And he probably first said Sebastian Vettel, and then his dad went and got Sebastian Vettel, and then he was like, "No, Dad," and then he got Fernando Alonso.
Yep.
And then maybe they'll get Lewis next. Who knows? But that's pretty much it for me this week. We got Spain next week. Some good changes. Getting rid of that last chicane, which I hate, as you found out when we played the game the other day. Yeah. Any parting thoughts from you?
It's just everyone enjoy the race weekend. It's going to be fun. Monaco, we got to enjoy it because they're definitely going to talk about it a shit ton and Drive to Survive next year. So hopefully, here's my real prediction. I think that we're going to see maybe it's an Aston Martin, maybe it's a Mercedes. I think we're going to see somebody that's not necessarily or in a Red Bull. I think we're going to just see somebody get like a fucking amazing lap. Not like they're not going to set a record or anything, but I feel like we're going to see somebody that we wouldn't necessarily expect, like kind of actually be towards the front. So
cool. That'd be nice.
I feel like this is the week or this is the track for that to happen.
All right. But I guess I'll give one slightly outlandish prediction as well. Then I will say that one of the top three guys that I predicted to be on the podium, either Perez, Verstappen, or Alonso, one of them is going to bin it and DNF.
We can only hope for Max to do that, not the other two.
Yes, hopefully Max. Max. I mean, I hate to root for that, but we got it at this point. So
hopefully safely crashes.
Just break the front wing or something.
DNF.
I mean, God, it puts Lewis to the front of the pack with 5 laps to go. That would be fantastic.
These are the widest cars that they've ever had in the tightest, most precise circuit. So it's going to be crazy. Max could get fucked over, not even by a reliability issue or a crashing. It could be a poorly timed flag or, a rookie crashing. You never know. So it could definitely happen. I'm just hoping we get after, our break and Imola getting canceled, we just need a really enjoyable, fun F1 weekend. So it's all we can hope for. Yep. But make sure to come back next week and listen or watch for our Monaco recap and Spain preview.
And the Wheel of Punishment.
Yeah, Wheel of Punishment. Whatever driver wins, whoever's team they're on, the other driver has to do a punishment. That's what we talked about that earlier. We spin a wheel, so yeah, come back for that next week for the punishment wheel. Besides that, thank you all so much for watching and listening, and we'll see you next time. Hell yeah.